It means like I could raise my desk so that I could stand at my desk and work. Oh, this feels so good. Okay. Alright. Who's on blue team? Jeff? Go,
I'm trying for red net.
Alright. I did. Yeah, so we could all see where everybody is. Okay. So you want to talk about starts first, or you want to talk about like strats first? Okay. Yeah. So on this map in Strongholds, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 4 main spawns. I think that sounds right.
Going to cap red net.
So you're going to have, well, I guess like 3 main spawns really, and then a couple of auxiliary spawns. So where do you guys think the 3 main spawns are? Blue corner. That's one. And somebody else said red, which is another one. Like red base. Tower. Yeah, so see a lot of red, see a lot of blue. There's a good bit of tower. There's a little bit of red outside, and then there's a little bit less of outside, or like blue and red security. But mostly it's like blue corner, red base, tower, and a little bit of like red outside. That's for the most part gonna be it. So a big part of like Eden Strongholds at the highest level is gonna be about rotating. So like there is kind of like an optimal setup. Like if you got to choose two strongholds, which one would you guys want to take out of these 3? You said nest and cat. You can hold what? Red and cat. Yeah. Hayes, what do you think? Alright, so yeah, Hayes and I have talked a little bit about Eden Strongholds before. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that having blue bend is bad, and it's like not wrong. Like having cat and blue bend is not wrong. Ultimately, it's gonna come down to, and there's at the highest level, there's not like static setups that you really want to get into, and then always try and play the static setups. It's gonna be dynamic. So you're rotating, and you're like collapsing on spawns constantly. So you're like moving around to mess up the enemy team entire time. So you're like moving into a setup for a short amount of time, winning that fight, and then you're transitioning to start a new fight with a different setup, pretty much, like regularly. So what that's going to look like, for example, is if you have cat and red nest, let's think about where we might be, right?
Stronghold control.
So we have cat and red nest right now.
Your team is scoring.
We're starting to get on the board. Where do you guys think that we might be if we're trying to hold this down? Okay. Yeah, so I'll play like the Snickers area, and then you guys position the rest of yourselves like where in places that you think are good. Yeah, so I'm gonna chill here. Sure. Watching red outside. Okay, I like that thought. That could be useful. Good, Eli. Yeah. Yeah, so typically, yeah, so typically if we're gonna grab cat and red, like, it's gonna be difficult for us to do this at the same time that we're also extending to blue, because it's a lot of space to cover. But definitely, like, once you're holding cat, like, if you've got cat, we just captured cat, we have red nest, we have haze, red window. Red window is huge in this setup, by the way. We can do a lot by grabbing blue corner, and we could force them to start spawning outside. Outside isn't like a great place for them to be. If they have blue bend, then they're only going to have like two main choices, right? They can't come into the middle of the map because we're going to completely fucking melt them. So if they're spawning outside and where we all are right now, in Journey, if you're out like near red nest, go hold your spot near red nest. So yeah, like if you're at red nest and they're all spawning outside, and I'm blocking tower fine, they can't walk into the middle of the map because they're going to get completely distracted. If they have blue bend already, you know, they could move towards blue bend and start pushing into blue base. That's a big timing loss for them, and we're going to know that they're going that way. Or if they decide to go to red, you know, then we're going to know that they're there. I could look towards red. Goose, you could play conservative at red, start backing down. Haze is going to be in that window, so like if they come through red base, or if they come up to red nest, he's going to be able to get shots on them. So they're facing a lot of resistance anywhere that we go. And as long as we have them dead and we know where they are and we're communicating, we can track those numbers and allocate our resources accordingly to make their job as difficult as possible. In Strongholds right now, if we have control, time is on our side. So all we have to do is just stall them as long as possible. We're like chucking grenades, we're shooting at them as a team, getting their shields down, forcing them to back down. And if we do that, the entire game is just trade shots and play conservative and be alive the entire time, they're screwed. Like, they're gonna lose this game. Yeah. Yeah, so if I was all the way up here, they probably would spawn in tower. So my job here would have to be to recognize when they have people dead and when they're going to be spawning. So when they have people that are going to be spawning up in a couple of seconds, I have to recognize that there's nobody behind me in tower. So my job is to see that and then to back down a few steps to start to block this spawn so that they can't spawn here. And we could force them to spawn outside again. So I'm going to have to back down every little while to continue holding this spot. Yeah, but, yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much, yeah. We'll want to continue to give them resistance over at blue corner as long as possible. So me here, Haze up in the window. If me and you were hanging out here in tower, we could like combo and try and get these slays. More often than not, you're gonna see one or two of them maybe start to float to blue bend if they don't have it, and then the other ones are gonna come up here. So after we melt them up here and blue corner becomes vacated, then we can go ahead and send one person through the catwalk. Then we have cat, we're forcing them outside, etc., etc. Something that you could do if you wanted to do that instead. Let's say we didn't have catwalk. Let's say blue team had catwalk. So we have red nest, they have catwalk and blue bend. And then they are between tower, blue corner, and blue bend, and then like outside near rockets. So they're all on like that half of the map, we're on this half of the map, and they have catwalk. One thing that we could do, if we slay out this guy tower, and we slay out somebody in blue corner, and then we don't have catwalk yet, instead of both of us grabbing this catwalk, and then waiting for those blue corner guys to spawn, you at that point could decide, oh hey, you know, they're dead, there's nobody in blue corner. I'm gonna go block blue corner, which, instead of both of us being here and grabbing cat faster, even though we could get it faster, it's a safer play if we have enough time for you to run through to blue corner, because it's still going to force them to spawn outside. And it's going to take them so much longer to spawn out. Exactly. We only need one person here, and it drastically improves our position. So if you have the time to get to blue corner safely, you know, we can just leave one person here. And that's even better than having two people here and then letting them spawn blue corner. So like, that's definitely the right train of thought. And another thing we could do, let's say that they're outside and we get those slays on the guys outside. You know, we don't want to just hold 2 and just keep forcing them outside. Let's say we want to get that triple cap, right? What could happen is Hayes can stay in red window. If you can make your way back there, that'd be cool. So Hayes stay red window, Goose your red nest right now, and then Eli was blue corner. Let's say our objective now as a team is to capture blue bend, and we have everybody dead at this specific moment in time. Or like most of them dead. You know, we could deal with like 1 or 2 stragglers if we needed to, but ideally, let's say they're all dead, and you know we want to go get that blue bend. So what's going to happen here is Elias already knows he's going to go towards blue bend. I'm going to take blue corner so that they can't spawn blue corner. And now what's going to happen is Goose, you might even want to move back and shade red outside a little bit so that they can't spawn red outside.
You have taken total control.
And yeah. So now we're going to force them to spawn in tower. And if you look at where all of us are, as long as we play conservative and play our lives, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. All of us can see tower and cat and fucking nade tower and cat, and they can't go anywhere without us knowing about it. So like they're going to spawn tower, we're going to completely shred them apart again. And then depending on where we are... What do you mean? Me and Stu, when he posted that clip of him playing the ball? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, we spent time talking about this, and it's dynamic, right? So it depends on like who's alive and what goes where. You just kind of have to understand like what types of things work. For the most part, as long as you're spawning the enemy team in one spot that you know as a team, like where you're spawning them, if your positioning is good, then it doesn't really matter. Like you could force the blue corner spawns, and then as long as you're all ready for that, that's fine. If you want to force these tower spawns, that's great. If you want to force them like red outside, by like holding blue bed, holding blue corner, holding tower, and holding that window haze where you're at, and then letting them spawn outside, that's fine. We just have to expect a big red nest presence after a short amount of time. It doesn't matter. The biggest thing is just like keeping track of where they are and like trying to make them spawn in certain places, and then just being on the same page as a team that where they're spawning. So that way as a team we could react to wherever they're spawning and just fucking team shot them until they're all dead, and then do it again and again and again. Well, I mean, exactly, yeah. So I mean, for the most part, if the team is decent, they're not going to try and capture cat right away because they're going to recognize that they're being spawned tower. They're going to know that we just captured blue bend. They're going to know because they spawned tower, they probably don't have. We probably have somebody in blue corner. Because blue corner is such a popular spawn. Like if somebody isn't here, they're probably going to spawn here. So if they're not spawning here and they're not spawning red, they know that we're in red, we're in blue corner, and they're spawning tower because we're also outside. So they know that they're being spawned tower by us. So what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and be conservative, they're going to look out for nades, and they're going to try and pick one of us off and then move into the empty space. So they're either going to start leaking towards blue alley, you know, and then trying to get behind me. They're going to start like running through the bottom of the map, trying to sneak back over to Hayes in red corner. They're going to try and team shot Hayes in the window. They're going to try and team shot you, Goose, over in red nest. Those are the types of things they're going to do. And once they get 1 or 2 slays, then that gives them more freedom to do what they want. So as long as we're all alive, they can't really do anything. Not often. I think that there are some like typical bad plays. Like one that you'll see a lot is if the enemy team is taking blue bend, or like there's a lot of pressure on blue bend, it's not uncommon if the other... So if the enemy team has red base, red nest, red outside, and they're starting to push blue bend, that means that we have tower, blue corner, blue base. And sometimes you'll spawn down here in blue security. So one thing that you'll see often if there's a lot of pressure on blue bend, like if I spawn here and I'm seeing blue bend contested, a lot of people are going to fly right down through here and try and come up these stairs to blue bend. And like 90% of the time, that is a terrible play. It takes absolutely forever. You have like no power on those stairs. Like you're coming into the fight late. The enemy team, if they're at red base, they might see you running and call you out early, and like it's just a terrible thing to do. So like I think that that's one specific situation running through the bottom where I would advise you try to not do that. Sometimes being bottom mid can be okay against a team that's disorganized. If a team is a little more organized, they're going to know that you're out of the fight and your team's down numbers while you're down there, or they're going to melt you. So I would say that if you're like hanging out on the bottom of the map, you don't want to be there for long. You want to use it to get from point A to point B, so like on the same side of the map. Not trying to point A to point B across it, but like if you drop into pit, you're fine to go up towards like the jump up near red nest, or to jump back up to the sneaky, or you know, if you come down here near red security, it's fine to try and like leak over into red corner to jump into red window quick. But you don't want to like run from like red security all the way across to try and get to red outside through the bottom of the map. Like if you're running across bottom mid, you need to feel like something is not right. There's a better play that you could be making. And I mean, like, I get it. Like, I used to do that shit all the time. Like, I get it. I get, like, understanding wanting to get from point A to point B as quick as possible. But sometimes you need to show a little restraint. Yeah, I mean, like, just, there's not really too much to be done from bottom mid. I think that the best things, like the best lanes you could possibly have control of are the ones that take up the most space. So hanging out, red window, you know, that gives you eyes into red nest, and then all the way down to blue corner. Like, that's a huge sight line. So, like, that's huge. Holding red nest, you can see pretty much everything. So as long as you're, you know, being conscientious of possibly, you know, people spawning outside or pushing you outside, that's a great place to hold. Being in blue corner, looking at cat is okay. Not great. Not as great as, like, red looking in, but, you know, that's good. Uh-huh. It depends. Like, I mean, there are certain... So, like, what types of skills do you think that each of those players should have? So let's do that. Let's get one person in red nest. Let's get one person in red window, and then let me take somebody in blue. Please get up to the window. Show a little discipline here, boys. Hold your positions. Keep moving around after, like, 30 seconds. Like, what do you think? Like, what types of things do you think that these certain players, like, should be good at? Well, I think that everybody shouldn't forget. But... Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely the communication is huge, and like when you start getting at the higher level and understanding that you can't have players play roles for the most part, like everybody has to do everything, your roles change depending on where you are at the map. So like you're either playing in pairs or you're playing like a 1-3 where that one is the ISO player and then the 3 players have a different job than the ISO player. And then you also have like back players, so the whatever teammate has spawned dead and is in the back, or Like the position that Hayes is in right now, he's kind of in the position of a back player where he knows that everything behind him is like reasonably safe and that he has all of us in front of him. So he has a different perspective on this game than the rest of the three of us, and he's able to help direct us on what's going on better than all three of us can if our heads are constantly on a swivel, because the whole game is in front of him. So you're definitely right that he has a unique job, not just of having to like shoot well and trying to shoot well and anchor at a long distance and just put on a ton of damage, but also communicate while he's doing that, because he has that unique advantage of being the back player in this situation, getting us that information of understanding like where people need to go. Because he's having to, I think that it's a little more simple of a job than something like I might have to do on Catwalk. Because I'm having to react to where everybody's spawning. I'm trying to have to help people out. I'm small talking with Eli, making sure that we're on the same page so that he doesn't open up blue corner unexpectedly, or like I don't open up tower unexpectedly. So like my job here is really complex, right? So if Hayes can use that extra bandwidth in his brain to start thinking about spawns and just telling us what to do, it makes our jobs a lot easier, because we can focus on, you know, some of the decisions that we have to make. And it's not just him, you know, like any one of us with extra bandwidth to spare can be thinking about that. But that's definitely an advantage there. Your job over there in Red Nest, Goose, would be to think about like the spawns, being conscientious of people spawning outside. That's a big thing. And then just getting team shots across the map as needed. For the most part, like I said, they're going to be pushing you though for spawning them outside. So if you're there and I'm here, then that's your job. And your job changes if Eli decides to go to blue bend and I go to blue corner. So if Eli rotates blue bend and I'm holding this, now your job is going to change, right? Because you know that it's unlikely that people are going to push behind you now, but you have to be very careful of people team shooting you in tower. You can't just hang out there the way that you normally hang out, because with the team that is playing together, they're going to try and team shot one of you to knock you down. So you can't just stay out there for 4 shots and then back down before you shoot the 5th time. Because if you have 2 people shooting at the same time, it's only going to take 2.5 Magnum shots worth of time to knock you out. So you're going to die a lot quicker than normal. So you have to be ready for that. Hayes has to be ready for that. You guys are a pair now. Me and Eli are a pair. And we have to take care of stuff on this half of the map while you guys are taking care of that. And then all 4 of us have to look for guys pushing cat and things like that. So then Eli's job, we're over here when I'm back here in cat, and then he's back in blue corner. If Eli was blue corner right now, then his job would be to be thinking about where the enemy team is, and then when he has an opportunity to screw the enemy team by going blue bend, or if he wants to open blue corner by going blue bend, and then I know that, so I'm backing off. We're both getting ready to start melting blue bend. That's cool. You know, I could be here, Eli could be in blue bend, Hayes could be looking down cat. And they could spawn blue bend with like 3 of us looking at them. And how fucking rude is that? You know? So like that's his job, is to like look for opportunities to completely fuck the team by doing that. And me too. If I want to open tower at any point, you know, I feel like we have a good situation for it, I tell Eli to get the fuck out, go to blue bend, I'm gonna go here, and then we're gonna spawn him tower. You know, so as long as we're on the same page, we can spawn these guys constantly wherever we want to spawn them, and then just screw them repeatedly. I'll spawn. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be every time that they spawn until they can pick one of us off. So as long as none of us are egoing, you know, and like trying to challenge things like way too much, it's going to be very difficult for them to do this right. Even if they do it, but we make it, you know, we make them take a couple of minutes to do it, that's like half the game with Strongholds control, if we hold all 3. Yeah, so I think that that's a lot of the strat related things here, and then just normal Strongholds etiquette, right? You don't want to try and be solo capping Strongholds unless maybe your spawns are blocked. So like if Eli was going to go block those spawns for me, if we have one person in a Stronghold, it doesn't mean we're solo capping it, right? If we're all doing it together and we're set up in a way that we know that that's what's happening, it's not like solo capping like we try to avoid. We try to avoid solo capping where you walk into a Stronghold without your team playing around you on the rest of the map, and then you're just trying to cap it by yourself. You know, like that's tricky business. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and if you're doing that to set up, a diversion, like a scenario where you're capping 2 strongholds and you're forcing the enemy to pick one of them, that's fine. If you're expecting that guy to die, you know, it's just about being intentional, right? And doing these like high percentage plays intentionally. So yeah, that's a good position. Holding the Snicker is a huge position. Like I advance with people a ton. Okay. So. It depends on like how seriously we're playing and like how good the people are that we're playing against. Against a team that we have like a comfortable skill advantage as a team. So not like being able to shoot better than them or move better than them, but I feel like our teamwork is a lot better than the other team. Like the teams that we beat in the HDL playoffs. You know, like we're pretty on top of it the entire game. For a team who plays as fast or better than us, it could be really, really difficult because they're just thinking faster than us. So like when we're making a decision to flip and like force certain things, the other team is already ahead of us. They're expecting, they've already thought about that and have formulated their plan against that. So we're moving into position to try and screw them, but they're already going to be out of that position in a different place as a team, doing something that we're not expecting. So they're just like faster. And at that point, like things will get crazy, the game will get out of hand. You have to take riskier decisions to try and get the game back in order because time is not on your side anymore. And that just makes it harder and harder to come back as the game goes on. So in like a game where you're evenly matched, you should be able to think about it all the time. Like constantly. That's the idea. Sorry. So yeah. No man, I do. Which one do you have? Oh. Kitty squad? Yeah man. Good stuff. So yeah, so that's all good stuff. I think that some tips I would add is to like review my movement video that I posted in resources on this map. And Shyway also has a good one. So it's like being able to play around this catwalk. Which one? Oh, well you can't do it if you shoot it. Yeah, and you can do it on red as well. Yeah. So you don't clamber, you just kind of want to... Yeah, so you don't want to clamber, you want to jump and then just thrust. And then it's going to... If you hit like your ankles off of it at the correct angle, yeah, you have to jump and then thrust into it. So it's like a thrust jump. Like, so for some maps... Can you do any... Oh, look, there you go. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And then if you hit it like really nasty or at a better angle, then you can like start getting over here to the right. Yeah, so this is the same thing, except instead of thrusting from the ground, you're gonna thrust into it, you know, elevated. Oh, whoops. Yeah, and this blue one is like a lot more like difficult and low percentage. So like if you can't do this, that's fine. But oh, almost. Yeah. Yes, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's like not a great place to be. So like being top cat is usually going to be a little bit better than being down there. So like definitely review the movement videos and the spots. Oh, there you go. Oh, almost there, man. Yeah, there's a couple good ones on that. Oh yeah, forgot about that. So yeah, so that's good stuff. Playing on this Snicker is awesome. Eli, if you're in this bit, or any of you guys, if you're playing Blue Bend, so if I'm playing Blue Bend, we have Cat, we have Red Nest, we have Red Window, and we're forcing those spawns, and we have Red outside. We're forcing those spawns Blue Corner. If you feel like they're gonna push out to Blue Bend with you isolated here, you can either choose to slow play it by getting ready to back down these stairs and then back down into outside, or you can sometimes even get away with sitting out here. And then, you know, letting them walk in front of you and then trying to get a back smack or two. Because even if you get numbers and then you get killed here, the rest of your team could collapse here and then, you know, you have numbers still through the next spawn cycle. Another thing that I would add about Blue Bend, if you're trying to take Blue Bend, don't stand out here or over here or over here. Like if you're the first one out, you come down from blue corner and you're holding Blue Bend, stay here. It forces the other team to either fully commit to pushing you around this corner right here, or to take a wide angle outside. Versus like if you're here, you can get shot from what? From where? Yeah, from out here you're just gonna get like crossed super hard. So for the most part, in most scenarios, I would recommend playing here, or even playing here against the guys outside, or spawning in blue corner. So most of the time you're gonna want to cap this here, and cat you could play around the like thing in the middle, or on either side if you need to dip out. Red nest, usually you'll want to stay against the wall for the most part. Then another really useful thing that I think I use more than most people use. Oh, nice, dude. Using this rail right here on the other side of this wall. It lets you very safely challenge blue corner. You can just like literally step out, put shots on, and then come back here whenever you need to. And the only thing you need to watch out for is people walking underneath you. So like this is nice. Playing on the Snicker, like I said, super great to be able to do that. You can also, yeah, if you're here, yeah. What, you saying like if I go here? So I would use that if I was like shooting at people blue corner. Like if they were spawning blue corner and we had this set up on this side, and they were spawning blue corner and they were either going to push cat or blue bend, I could put shots on from here and then move. Oh. I could put shots on and then move out there to get my shields back and then re-challenge. Or I can, like if you're there, you're not visible from blue corner. So if they don't know that you're here, you could just wait for them to come into catwalk. And once they're inside catwalk, trying to cap it, then you just clamber over, punch them in the back, do that type of thing, and just be really annoying up here. So like this is one of my favorite places to play because it's like a jungle gem for me, and I like doing that. So like I could be really, really annoying against a full team. You know, just by being up here with pressure on it from other places, so they can't focus on tracking me the entire time. Because if they're up here and they're looking for me and they're trying not to get killed, like my teammates are going to be able to shoot them for free. So. Yeah, we'll talk Oddball. Talk Oddball probably after we talk like opening strats for this map. You know. Yeah. I put all the game types and resources. It's gonna be like all the game types currently in the arena playlist. Do you guys have any more like Strongholds strat questions before we talk about like starts? Oh, some other useful spots. Less so on this side, but more so on this side, and you'll see it in the movement video as well. Laying up here is really great for the same reason, is it allows you to walk out and see more of the map, and then walk back as you need to. So it's very easy to take cover, get shots on, and just chill. And also if people are coming outside, it's a great spot, because they'll usually come through the sneaky. They'll like look for the sneaky, they'll check high cat, they'll check snipe, and then they'll start to move to blue bend instead of taking that wide angle. Sometimes they'll miss you up here. So like this is a great spot, and you can do it on the other side as well. Even though I don't do it on the other side as much, you could. Just get up here and kind of the same thing. You can get some good shots onto high cat from up here. Like I don't think I'd get that as much as I could if I wanted to. Like if I was this red nest player, like where Goose is hanging out, I could see myself wanting to be out there instead. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then it's also in the video that I'm telling you guys to watch, but being able to play on these windows really comfortably. Like just being able to like maneuver around them and like jump to the top one from the bottom one. Like that's good to be able to do that for sure. What do you mean on the inside? Oh yeah. I don't even usually do that jump, but you definitely could. Yeah, so. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. Most people don't know that this is like pretty low, so you could just like clamber that from the floor. You could also like stabilize jump to this bridge from the floor at the lower level. Like people don't know you can do that. Yeah. Saves you a lot of time. I think that's in the video as well. So yeah, look for those certain resources. Yeah, then just like time the power-ups. Like that's definitely big. So like every 2 minutes. That flow of the game that we're talking about, where you're getting 1 or 2 slays, forcing those spawns, and then continually trying to snowball them the entire game. That changes when the power-ups are coming up a little bit, because you have to start positioning yourself specifically to defend and grab those power-ups on time. So you'll have to like kind of give that up a little bit, and then as a team decide based off of where they're spawning, because your objective changes, right? It changes from putting yourself in a position to kill them again to putting yourself in a position to get the power-ups and then kill them. So that changes a little bit. I think that either one is good to have. Like for the most part, you're not gonna pick. Like it's gonna be whatever one you're in a better position for, or if you do have the resources to try and go for both, then you try and go for both. But if you had an even shot at one, but you only had a couple people alive, and you had an even shot at one of them, I think that I would just push, and it depends on where the enemy team is, like where you think you're going to face more resistance. Ammo's kind of nicer because it's less in the middle of the map, so like, if the enemy team has more people alive, there's a better chance of you being able to live in tower. Yeah, it lasts a little bit longer. You can like do some different stuff with it, but then sometimes like, sometimes you need a knife and sometimes you need a hammer. So like that overshield, like if you're using that to take strongholds, it could just be rude, because you could just stand in there for so long and just like absorb damage. That with like 2 people in a stronghold with one of them with an overshield, it's gonna be nearly impossible for you guys not to have a stronghold. There's very few ways to get like automatic captures like that. So I don't know. So it could go either way.
Rocket launchers on the field.
Especially on something like Red Nest, where like people are just gonna like nade the shit out of it, or if they're nading the shit out of Catwalk. Like camo doesn't matter if you're in that spot, because they don't see you anyway. They're just gonna throw nades up there because they know that you're up there. But if you have an overshield, like you can absorb a lot more of those nades than if you have with the overshield. So I mean, or with the camo. So it could go either way. I like the camo just because I like doing sneaky shit with it, but, you know, I'll take whatever I can get. So, let me just grab some water, and then I'll talk a little bit about starts. Right back.
Grenade out. grenade.
Alright, I'm here. Alright.
Throwing grenade.
So, starts. What do you guys usually do at the start? You're like red team. I think it. Don't you always spawn cat? Strongholds? Oh yeah, but you're all in this corner, yeah.
I lost shields.
Yeah, so I think that they're, and this is just like my opinion, like I don't know if any of the other guys will feel differently, but I'm in the opinion that on red side, I think that you automatically have overshield, at least a burn, by spawn. Yeah, so for me, like conditionally, like this front player, like the player who's closest to the overshield at the start, I think that they should be burning overshield,
Rocket launcher in 10
like playing
seconds.
for the overshield. Every game, like this player that spawns right here, they should be the first one on it. And then sending at least one more player to the right,
Rockets are up.
and then at least 2 or 3 to the left. And then if you're coming through for camo, like I like to see pressure on maybe cat, definitely through this door, and then possibly through the security area. And then slow playing the camo. Like it's hard to be the first one to the camo as red, and then actually get it and being able to live. But yeah, like if somebody takes catwalk, they're gonna look down and they're gonna get there a lot sooner than you're gonna be on the camo, and then you're pretty much always gonna have people contest through these doors, you know, which will make it difficult to get away once you have it. Like I would slow play camo and then grab OS with those spawns typically, and then if I'm blue, and we all spawn blue, which will be over here, spawning on the blue plat. You can see people jump down, you know, from here, start playing for the overshield, looking for that. You'll see people come on cat, they'll look for people red first, and then if they don't see anybody, then they'll start to turn in, look for people where Churney is now, or down in the security. For me, usually when I'm blue, I like to play for the camo. And what I'll usually do is I'll take like the quickest route to the camo and I'll try and burn it. So I'll sprint through here. Sometimes I'll like thrust at the start. I'll like use my thrust like right off the rip for a little extra speed. Because by the time I get to the camo, I'll get it back. So I'll thrust, I'll like come down, do whatever, come as fast as possible. And then when I come up here, I'm going to thrust, slide, jump, grab the camo, and then I'm going to come into their security. And they're usually not ready for that aggressive play on the camo to actually move past them, so sometimes I'm able to get away just for a second so that I can go fully camo, and then I'm able to live with it. And worst case scenario, you hit that, you come here, and then they turn around and chase you, and then you get killed. But then they have their backs turned to your teammates who came to this side to help you, so they're at a positional disadvantage in that follow-up fight. So, like, that's what I like to do. You can experiment with some different things. You can ask the other coaches, like, what they like to do and, like, what they think. But that's just kind of usually how I would approach it. Yeah. So. Any questions? Alright, you guys want to talk about Oddball in this map, or you just want to like go play some games? It's up to you guys. Mhm. Yep. I just invited him to the party. So you guys want to talk about Oddball or no? Alright.
Initiating Oddball.
Alright, so we'll just go blue team on this one.
New ball active.
Alright. So, Oddball.
Rapid procurement.
Yeah, like definitely off the rip.
Win
You're
condition
looking for overshield
50%
at the start of the
fulfilled.
game for a good part of it. Not all just running outside, staring at the overshield, but you want to grab the snipe, watch out for the
Sphere
barrels.
ally.
What, to get into
Sphere
overshield?
guard.
I mean,
Ball
I think
dropped.
that if I was going to try and like burn the overshield, you could either. Yeah, I think typically I'll come down into the yard. I think typically I come down into the yard, and then what I'll try and do is like if I'm not gonna jump up into the sneaky, I think what I usually do, like most of the time anyway, is I'll start to come here, and I'll look to come down here through pit. And then if I time it right, and if I got here at the right time,
Ball
like,
incoming.
they're going to be coming through here right at the same time. This is like the quickest route to red. is
New
to come
ball
right beside
active.
the rest here and clamber. So there's a lot of times where I come in right behind them, I get the back smack on the guy who was their fastest guy, and then I'm able to get in here first. So I like doing that. You could go through the sneaky if you're trying to get like be the first one to the overshield. And either like jump on it yourself, or you could just you know, try and shoot it down from here.
Shields recharged.
Either one of those is fine. Definitely grab that snipe, looking out for the barrels. If I'm grabbing the snipe on this map, what I'll usually do is I'll turn to come inside if I'm going to come towards that snipe, and I'll wait for you guys to get up here.
Picked up a sniper rifle.
Yeah, so before that, I'm saying like grab that sniper safely. What I'll do is I'll run in and I'll throw a nade right off of that wall to blow up the barrels before I get there. Like, so I'll just do that in one motion where I'll spawn, I'll jump, like I'll throw that nade, and then the barrels are exploding like right before I clamber up. And then I can come grab that snipe, come back in, yeah. So then I'll either come up to the window, you could drop, like usually I'll just grab it up here, and then I'll just live, because there might be a little cat that didn't go help his teammates near the overshield. So then I'll look out for that. I'll look out for the Hydra boy.
Sniper in
Yeah.
10.
Then on red team, you
Rapid
guys could
procurement.
play for the overshield the same way. Sometimes you could send one cat if you want. That way you can try and get like better positioning than the other team. So that way you have them closed in on this blue side.
Sphere ally.
You can do that. Yeah, it's like a lot simpler than the Strongholds one because there's only one power up.
Sphere
You're not
guard.
grabbing this ball off the rip, so. Alright, so Oddball. So tell me how to play Oddball, boys.
Sphere escort. Sphere protector. Ball dropped. You have the ball. You have the ball. Sphere ally. Sphere guard.
Throwing grenade.
Sphere escort. Sphere protector.
Yeah, throwing it to the middle of the map is like the next closest thing. Like if I got caught in red base here, and they're pushing me red outside, I'm not gonna try and push them back and red outside. I'm just gonna start to come out towards the middle of the map, and I'm gonna try and bring it back to bottom mid. Yeah, I'll just bring it back to bottom mid myself, and just leave it down there.
Sphere
Depending
ally.
on where they are. If you're the last alive, then yeah. Oh sure, exactly. That's the idea.
Sphere guard.
Yep. So yeah, you can play it red outside. Where else?
Ball dropped. You have the ball. You have the ball. You have the ball.
Yep. Yeah, tower is fine to
Sphere ally.
rotate too. You don't want to like try and set up there usually though.
Sniper in 10.
Where else?
Sphere guard.
Sniper rifles on the field.
Reloading.
Ball dropped. You have the ball.
What's up, boys? Where else? Yeah.
Ball dropped. You have
Yep.
the
Go
ball.
outside. The corner. Yeah. Yeah. So there's like no, like again at the higher
Sphere
level, you're not
ally.
going to be able to hold a static setup. You're going to need to rotate, depending on where the enemy team is pushing, like where their numbers are.
Sphere guard.
So yeah, the biggest thing is how you set up around the ball, and you want to think less about. It'd be kind of complicated to try and remember all of the
Sphere
different
escort.
places that you need to be as a team, like specifically by place. But you just need to keep in mind that you need to you need to make a buffer around the ball. That ball needs to have protection all around him, and then he needs to know as soon as possible
Sphere protector.
where people are coming from and how many. So we're like gonna have a dude out at a high cat. We're gonna have a dude blue outside, and then we're gonna have a floater. Maybe like blue window or a snipe or something like that. Hayes, if you can come on over here.
Sphere savior.
You there? Yeah. So like Hayes could be blue outside, Castle could have that snipe in blue, and then Cherney could go play high cat. So then now, you know, we have this perimeter established where they can't get it through here. They shouldn't be able to get through here without you guys recognizing that one of them is passing you. The toughest job is really for Cherney because there's a lot of different places here that they can possibly come through. He might see a lot more pressure, so he has to be ready to back down, play on that wall he's next to. He has to be ready for Eli to help him.
Ball
I have to be
dropped.
ready to drop the ball if
You
he
have
needs
the ball.
help immediately. Or if he's already getting overwhelmed, he gets surprised, he gets killed, then I have to be ready
Ball
to start
dropped.
rotating this ball
You have the
outside.
ball.
Hayes is going to start to play a little more on the outside to like anticipate that pressure since we're rotating the ball now. And Eli is looking for those guys cutting off either from inside blue.
Sphere ally.
Rotate with me. If they're just going to rotate and push really hard in the blue
Ball
corner, like
dropped.
that's fine. I don't even have to get ready to play
You
the
have
ball.
the
You know,
ball.
we just fucking sprint as a team over to red outside, and they're not going to be able to catch us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just like a running back in football. Like if you have everybody in front of you, you just need to like pick the place where they're not going to be and run to the open space. And like for the guys who move the ball really effectively, like
Sphere
Gary
guard.
particularly are very
10
annoying
seconds
to
to
deal with
sniper
when they have the
rifle.
ball. It's because we have a very good sense based off of comms, like where you guys are, comboed with good mobility, and we'll just move
Sphere
the ball.
escort.
Just
Sniper's
rotate
up.
space. And our whole team will die. Like, we'll all be dead except for the ball, but we'll still be able to get away, like, 2 or 3 times in one life just because of that. And, like, knowing where those numbers are, like, by the virtue of our teammates putting themselves out there
Sphere
to give us
protector.
where the numbers are early, it gives us time to get to where we need to be and to make the right decisions. So,
Sphere savior.
yeah, like that's big. Playing the ball is big. I think one of the most helpful things I could add, if you're the ball carrier, is to like direct the flow of traffic. Tell your teammates where they need to be. Tell them where you need coverage. Tell them to talk to you. Like if they're not talking to you and you don't know where people are, you need to be asking them. And then on top of that, your movement needs to be good. Like you need to be able to understand where you can move without needing to stabilize or, sprint. Like this jump right here gets me out of a lot of trouble. If I'm down here in blue alley, I'll just go ahead and I'll clamber up to high cat. And that's a big change in position with just one jump. And some people don't think about that one, so I use that one all the time. Being able to jump, like being able to fake people out, so if they're chasing me in from blue outside, I could go ahead and jump in here, and then instead of dropping, I could come up, grab the window, I could milk longer, come back into blue corner, come back out here, then drop into blue alley. Like, I could do a bunch of different shit. This clamber is big, also in the video, clambering on that rail. You can clamber on the corner of this rail, which is another good option. Okay. Yeah, so I mean you could do that. There's just like no reason to do this really over coming just straight here. Because with the ball you have to move as efficiently as possible. And it's a little bit quicker for me to do that versus to come up here and then try and clamber over. I think this one, like, it's easier to hit it with a stabilized jump. You don't need it. But like all of that time that it's spent jumping from one side to the other, I'm a free target. Yeah, so yeah, it just depends. Yeah, so just like rotating with the ball, setting up the perimeter. And then the other thing that changes this too, and like this is something we were talking about recently, the coaches and I, so we found out you could play the ball through the top of the map, which is like absurd. So like instead of playing the ball on the outside, like you can, if you're on this window, instead of like dropping it bottom mid,
Ball
you can throw
dropped.
oh my bad, I thrusted. So
You
you can
have
actually
the ball.
play the ball through the sky.
Sniper in 10.
Like it'll go out of bounds at the top.
Sphere ally.
A row.
Sniper rifles ready.
Snipes reloading.
Sphere guard. Ball dropped. Invalid ball position.
Yeah.
Ball incoming.
So like here, let me
New
get
ball
that.
active.
Yeah,
Teammates
so you
have
could
the
do
ball.
it from there. I think you could do it from. Can you do it from here? So
Ball dropped.
maybe not.
You have the ball.
Where is that? Yeah.
Sphere ally. Ball dropped.
you
Invalid
play
ball
it there.
position. Ball incoming.
Like so let's.
New ball
So
active.
this is the last thing that I'll show you, right?
Rapid
Is like why that is
procurement.
like so stupid nasty. I think you could do it from here as well.
Ball dropped.
Maybe not. I'm pretty sure.
You have the ball.
But But the reason that that's particularly nasty is... Alright, so this is the scenario. As a team, you know, we were playing it in blue, that's all pretty normal. You know, I had this guy get picked over here by one guy, but we ended up killing him, and then we were getting pushed from outside, and my other two guys were out here, but then you died. So like, I'm caught alone here now in blue base. So now one thing that's like stupid nasty is instead of like just playing it bottom mid and then dying on it, I could now play it up here.
Invalid ball
And
position.
then by the time it spawns, I can already be on it, thrust sliding, and bringing it towards red. And because we died in blue and they're over in blue, we're spawning in red. So you guys are spawning into the setup that we're going to have because I played the ball off the ceiling and then just thrust slid and grabbed it and brought it to who we're spawning here. So like, we just flip setups from being 3 dead on the opposite side of the map by being able to do that. Which is like insane. There's a lot of echo right now. Xavier? Yeah. Getting a lot of echo from you. Whoa! Whoa! Why are there 8 people in this party? So yeah, that's all I got.
Ball dropped. Teammates have the ball.
Any questions? Yeah, that's a no. GG's. That's it, boys. Maybe? Yeah? Sounds good. Xavier, welcome to your team. Team, welcome to Xavier.
Teammates have the ball.
Alright, so that is all the time that I have. I have some cooking to do, so I have to go run and do that. So I'm going to leave it to you guys to go play some arena.
Ball dropped.
Alright.
Teammates have the ball. Absolutely unacceptable.
Sure thing. Sure thing. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, got it. I'd like to see you guys implement it. Send me some clippies.
Invalid ball position.
Alright, I'll catch you boys later. Nah, I'll be back. He's working his shit out. Alright, talk to you guys later. GG stream.